Um, I look tired, because I am tired. Um, so I just have felt like God has maybe been asking me um, to make videos, um, and to just start somewhere. Um, yeah, I'm kind of like the kind of person who I like to have things like kind of figured out, more than this before I start them. Um, and I don't know. Yeah, that's not where I'm at right now. But it's just been like a lot of times that I've kind of felt like God has maybe been like asking me to start something here. So yeah, I thought I would just try today. Honestly, I didn't even like plan what I was going to say before I hit record. I've had a lot of different thoughts about what I could say since I started feeling like maybe he was asking me to do this. And I kind of thought if I did do this, I would make a plan before I recorded, but that's just not what's happening right now. Yeah, so and I kind of feel like it's supposed to be this way. So we'll just see what I say. But I guess, I don't know. I think I'm just gonna start by like talking about some of my experience as a person. The right word is testimony. I kind of hate terms a lot of the time. But yeah, just like some of my testimony, like coming to God and believing in him. Yeah, I'm a Christian. I don't know, we'll just see where this goes. So, so I spent a really long time not sure what I believed. And it was really hard. It was like probably a lot longer than it would be for most people, where I was really just questioning what was true with God and religion and everything. It was maybe a full decade. I think it was about a decade, maybe a little bit more, where I was questioning just like what was true. And it wasn't like this is like kind of there but like really buried underneath the surface and like I'm doing fine and like life is pretty good. Like it was very present, like all the time pretty much for like an entire decade. And I didn't really tell anybody that I was dealing with this. I was really just, I don't know, like naive and young and hadn't learned how to like tell people if I was struggling yet. I don't know, I'm from North Dakota and like we bury stuff down there, yo. Like we just don't always tell people when something's wrong. I think it's kind of the culture. At least that was my experience growing up there. Anyway, so yeah, like for like so long I was really, really questioning like what I believed in. It was very present like all the time. Like I would walk around all day long and have like existential thoughts. I would walk around and be like yeah, I would just walk around wondering. And it affected my life in so many ways because the ramifications of like if it was true, when I say if it was true, I think usually I was maybe thinking like if the Christian God was the true God, because that was the gospel that I had heard and that I was really questioning the most, I think. And so I would just walk around being like, if this is true, like that's all that matters, and like what am I doing with my life? And like, yeah, I was just very present. I would be like, I shouldn't like spend any money on anything because like nothing, material possessions don't matter, like nothing matters, like literally nothing matters. I'm a very like kind of all or nothing person, and honestly I like that. I know that it has drawbacks, but I like that. I like being that way because I care a lot, and yeah. But anyway, yeah, it was like a huge deal. And so I questioned for a really, really long time, before I finally, it's a really long story, but eventually I finally got to a point where I just, my life was such a mess, and I couldn't, I think I don't know if it was that I couldn't keep going as much as maybe that it hit me that it wasn't going to get better until I did something about it. And that might sound funny, but I had a really idyllic like upbringing and childhood, for like literally the first like 18 years of my life. Like I didn't really experience any kind of like very difficult suffering. And so I had this kind of like very false thought that like life worked out for people, and that things, that like the default was that like things were okay. And so I think for a long time going through all of this, I just thought that I would just like snap back into like myself again. And I think it took a really, really long time before, for me to realize that that actually wasn't true. And yeah, I finally realized that I was going to have to fix it. And I mean, not that I didn't before, like I had tried to make my life better, but I hadn't ever really gone like all in on that. And I hit a point where I knew I was going to have to fix it myself, and that when I say fix it, like fix my life, like make my life better, like figure out what I had to do to be okay again. I knew I would have to do that myself. And I also knew that I was going to have to do whatever it took, and I couldn't just like try some different things and like hope they worked. Like I was going to have to like make that my top priority in life. So I did. And this is really long, but my testimony is really kind of a long story. So yeah, so basically things were really crazy during this time. I like had huge life changes that had to happen to be okay. I was married during this time, and I guess I won't like go very much into that for the sake of time. But I ended up getting divorced. Realized that I was in an abusive relationship, and ended up getting divorced. So yeah, that was one huge thing. Yeah, I also had, my job was playing with an orchestra during this time. I'm a violinist, and yeah, that was what I did. And I was absolutely miserable in that life. Yeah, like literally, tears are like immediately like coming to my eyes because I was so unhappy for so long playing violin. And I quit that job, and that might sound like not a huge deal, but in that kind of world, the classical music world, it felt like a huge deal. And so it was really hard for me. When you pour your life into something like that, learning an instrument, and going to school for it, like I have 2 degrees in it, and it's like, it's a really hard thing to be like, okay, I'm this thing I worked my entire life for, from age, like I was 11 when I started. Like it's like, it was hard for me to just quit. But I did, and With those two things, my life was like so much better. But yeah, I'll try to make this a little more concise because now it's getting really long. But basically, it was so clear to me really quickly as soon as I decided that I would do whatever it took to figure out how to make my life good again, to be okay again. It was so clear very quickly, maybe like not long after those two things happened, that I was going to have to figure out what I believed about God. Otherwise, I wouldn't be okay, because I was like, if he's true, then what else? Nothing else matters. So I can't be okay without knowing that. Like, I can't be okay. So my soul focus went from I will do whatever it takes to be okay to I will do whatever it takes to figure out what I believe about God. And so I did that. And I'm trying to figure out how to say this in like a faster way, because I don't know how long I want to take to share it, but because I don't want to be boring. but basically I don't know. I guess I'll say, like, right away I was like, okay, I'm gonna study apologetics, because that was kind of like the background I had in church. I'd been going to church for a lot of years. That's a whole long like backstory, but I was like, okay, I'll study that. Tried, and it just wasn't going to work for me. I like knew that I would never stop having questions. I knew that there was like never going to be anything that anybody could say to me that would cause me to be like, okay, I'm done with questions. Like now I believe. Like, I know that probably works for some people. For me, that's not how my brain works. So I basically like was like, okay, after this, I had spent like some time in a coffee shop in Nashville. I wasn't even living here, I don't think, at the time yet. And I was like, I spent some time in a coffee shop trying to study apologetics. Didn't work. Was in the car at one time, and I was like, God, like, I kind of was like shouting out to him and crying out to him, and it hit me. Like, I was like, if he's God, like, he could give me a sign. And I don't know, maybe nowadays I feel like we see things, at least I do. Maybe other people don't. Maybe it's like my algorithm or whatever, or like the people I'm around, but like I feel like nowadays signs are from God are like not that, like people are more like, oh yeah, of course. But like for me then, it was like a huge deal to be like, for that to like click in my brain, to be like, wait, no, like if he's God, like that's not hard for him. Like he could do that like so easily. And it wasn't coming from a place of like, I don't know, being like sassy with him. I was just like, no, like he actually, like this, like he could do that for me. And so, yeah, so I just was like, I don't know, shouted something to him, maybe like, God, if you're who you say you are, if you're the Christian God, like you could give me a sign, like you could. And then right after that, I was sitting in my car, and it was like, yeah, I remembered in that moment that I had entered this giveaway on Instagram, which I like never did ever, but it was like for this like workshop with a writer who I really wanted to go to this workshop. And so I had entered this giveaway for this workshop with this writer and yoga instructor and Enneagram coach in Nashville. And I was like, okay, I remembered that I had entered that. This memory is just so good. So I'm like smiling now. But I remembered, and I was just like, oh, that would work. Like you could use that, God. And it was not about like, I don't know. I just always like to say when I share this, because I don't know, maybe to make myself look okay. But but truly, like, it was like 0% about like getting the like winning the thing. Like it was really just like all about like knowing who God was and like hearing from him. And that was just like a tool for like a vessel for that or whatever, like a way for him to answer me. So I was like, okay, like that could be the sign. So I kind of like said that to him, and yeah, I ended up like I went back to Florida where I was living, and I remember like there were two things that happened. I didn't think about this much, I don't think. I don't know how now. I don't know how I wasn't like always thinking about it. I really don't remember thinking about it that much at all. I just kind of like prayed that prayer, that happened, and I just was like going about my life if I'm remembering right. But two things happened. I remember one time I was in my friend's apartment, and I was staying there for a little bit when I was going through the divorce. And I remember like where I was standing, and I remember I'm gonna like cry. Nothing like this had ever happened to me before, but I just remember standing there, and I remember, so I'm gonna cry because it's, oh my gosh, I just like, it's still recording. I just like flipped my phone. I remember where I was standing, and I remember just feeling like I got this like feeling, and it was like this like knowing from God, and it wasn't like words that I could hear. It was just like this like impression or something upon, like it was like impressed upon me or something, and it was like, you're going to go back to Nashville, like you're going to win this, and you're going to go back to Nashville. And what came with that too wasn't just like that impression, but it was like I just like remember me like believing it so strongly, and like that's not who I was. Like I was not the kind of person. It was like supernaturally given to me in that moment to have this belief in that. Like that has to be what happened, because I was not that kind of person. When I say like I was like irrationally like I never was the kind of person who was into like new age stuff or like anything like believing in ghosts or like anything like that. I was very much just not like that, just naturally not like that. And so I just remember just believing though, or just like, so strong, believing so strongly. And it was crazy. And I was like, okay. And then, not much time went by after that, and sorry, I'm like starting to cry again, but I'm also like frustrated by some things that I've been dealing with. So now I'm like, those thoughts are coming up, and honestly, they're from the enemy. And so that's like blocking me from being able to cry, because then I'm annoyed. But anyway, the enemy, I mean, Satan, in case like, I don't know who will watch this video. So if I just say the enemy, that might sound really weird. Anyway, like a few days later or something, not that much time later, I was in a different friend's apartment, and I was staying, still like going through the divorce, and my phone just like dings, and I pick it up and I look at it, and I had won. And I'm frustrated that I can't cry right now, because it was just crazy. I had won, and that was it for me. Like I believed after that, and it's kind of funny to me now, because I don't know if that would be like enough for me now, but I know that it was, God knew that was what I needed then. And God meets us where we're at, and he knows, he treats us uniquely as individuals, and he knew that was what I would need. And and after that I believed. And when I say that, like my life just like broke open in the best ways possible, better than I could have ever imagined after that. Like, I mean, I can't express how much that is true. Like, it was crazy. even just that day, I think maybe that same exact day, I remember like going to Starbucks and I was just like sitting there just like on cloud nine, like oh my gosh, like God's real, like this is crazy, like just so happy. And yeah, I don't know. I don't really have like a plan for what I want to say like now, like after sharing that. Like I didn't really even like plan on sharing that, like because I didn't know what I would say. I just really felt like I was supposed to just like pick up the phone and press record and like start somewhere. And so yeah, yeah, the point of like what I kind of want to like talk about on here, if I keep making videos, like it's not all like sunshine and rainbows and stuff, like living for God. And so I guess I kind of wanted to say that maybe because like this was a really nice story. And I was like, everything was amazing after I found God. And for a while that was true. But yeah, like, I mean, not everything was like amazing, but like life was really amazing for a while. That was really true. But yeah, I don't know. I guess for today, I'm just gonna leave that at that. So that was my testimony. Didn't know that I would be sharing it today. Yeah. I hope you're all having a great day. Like, I guess I just kind of want to say, like, after church today, I was driving. I've had this like $5 bill in my purse for like a long time, and I've been wanting to like give it. I felt like I was supposed to give it to somebody, and I was like only $5, but like give it to like a homeless person. And today after church, I drove by, and I just knew it was like the right time finally. And yeah, I drove by someone, and I gave it to him, and I just felt like I was supposed to say that God loves him, and I wanted me to give it to him. And I don't know, I guess the reason I started saying that wasn't to like share the story. Like I would rather kind of not share the story because I don't know. I like to keep things to myself a lot. Yeah, but it was, I just wanted to say that like that God loves you, whoever's watching this. Like, yeah, that was what I wanted him to know, because I didn't know how he was feeling, and I've been in really dark places, and I've known how much it can mean to hear a kind word from anyone that day. And so I guess I just wanted to say, like, if anyone's like watching this, like, God loves you, even if you don't have any idea who he is, even if you don't have any idea what you believe. Like, I believe he spoke to me. Yeah, I don't know, I guess I won't maybe share that. It's kind of a lot for today, but he loves you. So yeah, all right, I'll end it there. Peace and love to all of you. Bye.